I don't have the copyright to play the theme of Star Wars, so if you can help me hum it together, yeah. Yeah, we're tired. Who's tired? Obviously, yeah. So it is late. So I prepared two options because I didn't know, what's going to be the schedule. So let's do a show of hand. I can do like a very informative talk, or a fun and inspiring talk. Who's for like informative talk? Really? Yeah? Yeah, a deep one. I'm going to warn you. Great, all right. So let's get started. It's going to be the long history of computer science. This is going to be part one, the early years. You wish. This is my second time here, so thank you. I want to thank the organizer for inviting me again. Last time we did some... who was here last time? Is it right now? Oh, cool, yeah. So we had like a fun live coding session, very intensive, but this time I want to take it easy because, again, it's late and come on, let's have some fun and talk about other important stuff. So usually I'm doing a lot of technical talk, so it's going to be like interesting, hopefully. Who doesn't know what is a Jedi? All right, so we're cool about it. Nice. So this is the title, how to become a Jedi developer, how we can use the source and let the source guide us. All right, but before I start, I want to share two important things with you. The first thing, I want to dedicate this talk to my mother. Thanks. The second thing, this is not my mother. Just a random woman that I found on the internet. So who am I, all right? So this is me. This is a bunch of icons because this is from the NG Viking conference, a great conference in Copenhagen. If you want to travel to Europe, so you should try them. You familiar with the Danish culture? It's great people, like Swedish, but without ABBA. So I'm the organizer of the React NYC meetup in New York City. If you're around, come and say hi. And some other stuff I might be mentioning it later. So I'm doing a bunch of stuff, which is fun. But on my free time, I'm a professional violin player, an exotic dancer, and a carpenter. So just want to share this piece of information. I'm also author of two books, a personal novel of Our Survival Windows Vista, and a roman that I just finished, 50 Shades of CSS. So you can find it on O'Reilly or not. But kidding aside, just before we get with the serious stuff, I just want to say that I'm also trying to make the world a better place for all of us. I'm volunteer. Yeah, thank you. This is a true picture from my service. This is a village of people who use VS Code, and we're just dropping free licenses of WebStorm. So, yeah, because everyone should have the opportunity, to get a professional tool. And but I'm here today to share my experience. I want to talk about this, all right? This is one of my best friends, Shai Resnick. You should check out his website. He's a very funny guy. He made this picture of the ultimate developer, all the recruiters down here, all right? This is how a Rockstar Ninja Guru developer looks like. And actually got another friend, a real person who put it on his business card. Benjamin, he's working on a great company called Testim. You should check it out. But yeah, he's just looking for an opportunity to give this card to a recruiter who looks for a Rockstar Guru Ninja developer. But I want to talk about this, about the stress of trying to be, like all of us, trying to be better. Like looking at other developers, oh, he's a rock star, he's an expert, everyone hiring from experts, and I don't know what's going on. Because we all know that being a developer is not stressed at all. You familiar with the smell? Yeah. Obviously. And come on, we like our job, so developer happiness, that's the goal, all right? We want to be happy, but we want to stay relevant, we want to become better developers. That's, I think, yeah, most of us now. Yeah. We're tired. So let's talk about frameworks and libraries. There's a bunch of them, as we all know. I used, I think, most of them. Yeah, I'm much older than it looks like. The problem with frameworks, I mean, there's a lot of good things with frameworks, but obviously a framework gives us a thick layer of abstraction. And if you use a framework for a long time, it seems like, sometimes I like to call it, we feel like we're code executors. We learn the API, we're trying to get better, but we like executing code, just using the tools, using the frameworks. We want to know better. We want to know what's going on under the hood just because we are curious and want to get better, but that's not always possible. Who feels like, be honest, this is a safe zone? So who feels sometimes like it's just, using the API? I'm raising my hand. I mean, I'm doing this for 12 years, and sometimes I just feel like I'm using the tools. So how we can learn more? So there's a bunch of tips. I used to give those tips, like implement your own stuff, like we did on the last Nation.js. There is a great video, I think you should check it out, where I try to, to sell you the idea of try to implement something by yourself. It's not that hard. You can make things better. We can read a bunch of books and documents. We can watch videos. We can attend conferences. I wanna hold on this, like read books and documents. I like to read books. I'm an author of books, as you know, but documents, sometimes that's not enough. I mean, some of the tools and libraries got great documentation, like TypeScript, for example, and other frameworks, but other got like missing information. It's not that easy. But the real problem is that there isn't enough time. So people usually, because I'm very involved in the community and really like to do all those meetups and conferences, so a lot of people sometimes approach me and ask me, I mean, it seems like you know a lot of stuff. Where do you find the time for this? And the most common excuses is like, I don't have the time because I've got a family. I want to get home. I want to come home and be happy. Yeah. Sometimes, we're working too hard. Like this poor girl is waiting for her father to come home, comparing to this happy family. Sorry. No thanks. Brian left the building. I like VS Code. And sometimes we just don't have enough time because, we just old, so literally we don't have enough time. So. We're not going to want to spend it like trying to get better. So the good news, there is a very easy and quick solution for this. All you need to do is just sacrifice your social life. If you sacrifice your social life like this Vue.js developer, no, I'm kidding. I like Vue. I like all of them. Actually, in this point of my career, I just found out that I like to play with all of those frameworks, and that's great. So, but again, sacrifice your social life, you'll get plenty of time. All right? And I mean, we can end this talk right now and go home. But let's try to get practical. So I'd like to introduce you my new program, which is... and that's not really working. No. How to the Jedi Developer Challenge. Are you ready for this? Woo! Yeah, let's do it like woo! So you'll get amazing results from day one, like this person. You will learn a new thing every day. You will stay relevant. You will boost your skills. You'll learn and have fun. Sounds promising, all right? But wait, there's more, of course. Just 5 minutes a day and no reading documents. I don't know if it's going to work out. So a Jedi developer knows how to use the source because, hanging around with a lot of people from the community, a lot of time, I feel like we're afraid approaching the source code. I mean, our first station will be, I don't know how it works, I'll try to read the documents. I'll jump to the Stack Overflow. I'll look like in any other place, and if it's not going to solve my problem, only then I will peek under the hood and try to read the source code, because that's a source code, so I don't know, it might be complicated or something or any other reason. So I want to show you what works for me, what worked for me and still working for me, all right? So I'm saying, it's really hard to stay focused, so I'm trying to get into this state of mind of asking just one question a day. So like picking on an API or something that I'm doing, and just ask just a single question, not trying to learn everything. Just, all right, how this thing works, and then try to find out how it works within the source code, and then trying to find another practical usage of what I just learned. And then there's a bunch of side effects, and all this thing is going to take, I don't know, 5 to 10 minutes. I'll try to prove it. So you're going to help me with this. All right? Sounds good? Cool. So first we need to build a playground. I'm always keeping like a project. Currently I'm working with React and sometimes Angular. So I've got like a generated project sit aside. And if I want to play with API, like not in the context of the project, I always can, just get my editor and play with the code. That's the playground. Obviously, you need to know your code editor, like the modern code editors, like VS Code, like Webstone, like other tools out there. They're very sophisticated. They're going to help us investigate the source code. We're going to do a live demo, so it might work. How many of you debug your front-end code from your code editor? Raise your hand. Not the Chrome dev tool. When working on the front-end side, yeah. So, not all of you, but you should give it a try. It's a very interesting experience, and both editors got great features to debug and put breakpoints on your source code within the editor, and give you a lot of tools to investigate the code, all right? If you never heard about Quokka, not this strange animal, the plugin, who heard about Quokka? Hopefully I'm saying right, all right, so most of you haven't heard about it. That's a great plugin. We're going to use it in a live demo in a second, which basically give you the opportunity to just open up a scratch pad within the context of your project and just play with and run some JavaScript. Ready for some kind of a live demo? Let's see if you can get it in practice. Yeah, let's do it. Woo! So first, I need to find out how to do this and that and mirror, and then optimize. Cool, nice. Let's take it out. All right, so first go away, go away, go away, go away. My routine, first I'm gonna open up my favorite code editor, and then minimize it and open Webstone. I like this code. Seriously, no. Let's go into. This is just a generated React app. Who's working with React? It's not that relevant, but who's working with React? Most of you. So, all right. So just a quick example. All right. So let's talk about React. We read the documents. We're familiar with the concept of props. So first, I'm going to convert this function into a variable holding an error function just because I can. And then, that's not that funny. And then I'm going to create another component. Let's split the screen. Let's open this one, this side, and here let's open up the title component. Let's accept some props. I'm not trying to get fancy, so I'm not going to do all this, this structuring and stuff. Just try to keep it simple. And all right, props title, and let's come right here. Use this. Obviously, it's going to be a title. And all right, where's my Chrome? Here it is. Seems to work. Cool. Now a question for you. But raise your hand because it's going to be a question, and the person who's going to answer right is going to get a T-shirt, which is cool. If I'm going to do this, I've got props. Props is just JavaScript. So I'm going to change the title here to something else. What's going to happen? Who wants to answer? Who wants a T-shirt? Not yet. Nah, come on. Someone else. Come on, people. What's going to happen? Try. That's a safe zone. Nothing. Would you like a t-shirt?
Sure.
You like it now or later? Nothing going to happen. Why?
Because you declared the title right there.
Because what?
You declared the title. No, I don't know.
That's a good thing. This is exactly where I'm aiming. All right. So we use React. If you read the docs accidentally, you find out that props you can't change them. All right. So I was trying to do this just because I'm curious, and I've been working on a project, and play with the API, and it drives me crazy. Why can't I? I mean, that's JavaScript, plain JavaScript. I mean, that's a plain object. I want to change the title. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to peek into the source code and see if I can learn something from it. So again, know your editor. I'm going to try to jump into the source code and look for not create element, the React element. Yeah, this function that accepts props. I'm going to look for it. I'm going to find it. If it's not going to happen, I'm just going to click on it. It's going to be much faster. Where is it? Where are you? Yeah, of course. Too much documentation. Here it is. All right. So this is the function who's created a React element. So again, this is a very naive example. I think the code is pretty much readable, and most of us can understand what's going on. But I don't care about all of this. Usually, if I want to investigate something, like I told you before, I'm trying to focus on a single thing. I'm not trying to figure out how everything works. So I can't change the props. I want to know why. So I jump into the source code. I'm looking for props. My technique. It's just, honestly, I'm ignoring the whole function. I'm trying to keep myself very focused, trying to see what's going on with those props and where it's going to happen. And then I found this line. Object freeze. How many of you heard about this API? Most of you, all right? So a lot of you never heard of it. Just a use case to explore other methods. What's going on object freeze, all right? What is it? So again, I can jump right into the documentation, but what I like to do is to open up a Scratch file. This code supports this feature, same plugin, same experience, all right? This is Quokka, this is the plugin. And now I can just play with code and just execute it right in place. So I can print something, for example. And I can create, I don't know, let's create a user with a name. Let's try to log it. User. And then let's try to freeze it and see what's going on. So this is the kind of things I'm doing through my workday, just picking up on something and then open up my Quokka, my playground, and try to, to squeeze as much information as I can from this new API that I just found out. So I already know that if I'm going to do this user name and change it to something else, that's not going to work. And from this feature and on, I learned about object seal as well. Who's familiar with seal? Raise your hand. Less people than before, all right? So just by discovering object freeze, I discovered object seal, which I'm not going to dive into, but I think the experience just proved that even without going to, trying to learn everything from everywhere and just jump into Stack Overflow and documentation and all of this, spending 2 minutes, and you might discover new API that you're not familiar with. Sounds good? Cool. Let's see if we got enough time. How much time do I got? Someone? Organizers? How much time do I got?
5 minutes.
Oh. All right, let's do it quick. Another thing. So there is this very little and unknown library called Lodash. Who's familiar with Lodash? Yeah. And there is a very useful function that I like called Memoize. Who's familiar with Memwise? A lot of you, all right? Memwise give me the option to do this. If I created a function that, I don't know, let's do something very quick. I'm going to return a plus b. I'm going to just log here that I know that the sum function is actually running. And then I'm going to use it. I'm going to do a sum, 1 and 2. What's going on? Can you spot a problem? Or just Quacker giving me a hard time? Start Quacker run automatically. Unexpected token. Oh yeah, it might be the input statement. All right. So the basic of Memwise is if you got a function, a pure function, and you're passing the same argument, you can cache the results. It exists today in the React ecosystem almost everywhere. You've got React memo, you've got a use memo, the new hook. This whole concept of this technique is become very, very popular, and it does make sense. So Lodash got this feature. I'm going to try to import this again. I hope that's going to work. No, it just is not like. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to try and do it in VS Code. I'm going to try. Let's change the language to JavaScript and start on current file. And let's try to, I can't import because I don't have any numbers. All right, I've got just a few minutes. Let's try to make a point and then try to summarize this fun and lightweight talk. So Memwise from Lodash enabled me to create a Memwise function, functions that cache the results if you pass the same parameters. So I used it. I wasn't familiar with this, like it was, I don't know, some time ago. I wasn't familiar with this. I jumped into a project. I've seen someone use this. I was very curious how it works. So I jumped into the source code, which obviously I don't think I can do right now. Or I can, cool. And I started to read it, all right? So what is Memwise? It accepts a function. Again, every time I see this error, if I'm trying to keep it focused, I'm trying to ignore the irrelevant parts. So I learned that Memwise, it's a function that accepts a function and cache the results. And during this little search, I found out that there is an object that was created that acts like a map. It's got methods like set and get, so I can keep the results and get stuff from the cache. And 2 minutes after it, I found myself familiar with, how many of you familiar with map in JavaScript? Hope almost everyone. How many of you familiar with weak map? Raise your hand. Less people, right? That's the point. I mean, we can do it for hours, but we still have an after party. And so, what I'm trying to say, basically, like I told you before, this talk, the intention wasn't to get any technical deep dive, just to give you some kind, hopefully, of motivation and share with you things that I'm actually doing during my workday, which is picking on an API, just click on it, try to understand the source code, open my playground, try to play with it a little bit, and then a bunch of side effects can happen, all right? I call this the butterfly effects. Do you familiar with this person? Me either. So we learn something new, we tweet about it, we create a talk about it with basically what I just did, all right? I'm sure there's information, and once you do it, people start approaching you and asking you, hey, where do you find the time to learn all of this stuff? Which is very interesting. I want to give you my real book for free, so you can use this QR or just this link for every book that you download. I'm just going to give you a second. All right. For every book that you download, I'm going to donate $1 to PHP Developers Hotline, where we help PHP developers. We listen to them, We help them to learn JavaScript, get a job, get their career done. It's a very important thing, people, all right? Because my friend here talked about music, if you like to contribute to my front-end band on GitHub, you can find the lyrics, and you can. It's written with TypeScript, but here you can find a bunch of songs. We will fork you. So again, you're welcome to donate and add your stuff to the front-end project. All right, thank you. One last thing, this presentation, which I'm not going to share, and there is a link that will lead you to nowhere. Thanks. Thank you very much.